Hi, everybody. I'm going to wait just a little bit. Actually, nobody's here but me yet. Hi. Oh, hi, Denise. How are you? We have to catch up. Just waiting to see if, yeah, son of a gun. Oh, wow. My leg is bothering me a little bit. I wonder if the weather is changing. I know that Dorian won't have any effect on us, certainly not anytime soon. Hi. There are so many crazy things going on in the world, but sadly, that's not unusual. We've come to expect the unexpected. We've come to the point where the shock, though it is there, is, it's constant amazement that we feel when we see all of these things happening all over the world that are so unfathomable, yet they happen over and over and over again. And I will tell you, it's a good segue into a movie that I saw last night, and I'm beginning to think that maybe I should review movies because I'm getting to see a lot of them, and I'm enjoying most of them. The one that I saw last night, if you have not seen it, I would highly recommend it. It's called Overcomer. I had never heard of it. Hi, Chris. It is, let me see. The guy who wrote it and produced and directed it, I gather, his name is Kendrick, and it's he and his son, and I think his wife is involved in the film and whatever, and he played the lead character. And the interesting thing is, I had never seen this man before, and I love the acting. I love the acting by everybody in this film. It was really extremely well done, and it was one of those films that leave you feeling it's just a great film, Denise. I had heard nothing about it, but I needed to find a movie to get us to, that we could see. And I checked reviews on a few of the others, and they weren't so great. So I took a chance on this one, and I think I'm getting to be a pretty good movie picker. And it was terrific. The movie theater that we were in last night, it was one of these huge theaters. It was an AMC movie theater complex. They have, I think, at least 10 screens. It looks like Grand Central Station, and then you go off to all the different, down the different hallways to the different movie theaters. And whereas with the small local theaters, we go in and they have maybe, I don't know, um, I've not counted them, but they're small in comparison. This theater was mammoth. And the interesting thing is that when we went to buy the tickets, you choose your seat. I know that they do that online with tickets. I don't know if Fandango does that, but I know that some of the online theater ticket places do that. But so he shows us the whole theater, and at that point, he showed us the seats that were taken, and there were maybe maybe 10 or 12 seats taken. So he said, "You have the world, pick out where you want to be." And I said, "I feel like I'm buying a plane ticket." It was really funny. So we chose our seats, and then we walk into the theater, and it is massive. It is absolutely huge. I mean, I can't tell you how many hundreds of seats were in that theater. It's huge. Wonderful big screen, too, and great sound, except I was a little bit deaf when it was over because it was a little on the loud side, a good part of it. But as we go in, people are looking down. You know how you walk into, well, if you've gone to the theater to see a play, you go in and they have the seats, and of course they lead you to your seats, or at least they did. Excuse me. There's nobody to lead you to the seats. There are no ushers to do it. There's nobody. Oh, oh, okay. That David just sent me a message. Um, so that's interesting that he has Dylan for his birthday week. Huh, that's good. Maybe I'll get a chance to do a little FaceTime with them so I can connect with them both or all of them out there. My nose is itching. I know. Fight, right? Um, anyway, so it was this vast theater. So we go in and we're going to look for the seats, and everybody's looking. It wasn't particularly well lit. So as we're walking down the aisle, everybody's looking down toward the seats to see if there are numbers on them because we bought specific seats for that performance. There were none. There was nothing marked on the seats, and everybody had the same perplexed look on their faces until I suddenly looked down at the floor and realized that on the floor they had the letters, the alphabetical listing of the rows. And I mentioned, I said, oh, there it is. So then everybody started looking at the floor, and we got our seats and we sat down. And they did all the usual previews. And I was astounded when they were doing the previews. Hi, Sheila. I was astounded when they were doing the previews that they were doing previews of all kinds of movies that looked interesting. And one of them, they said, coming in January. And I was like, have I lost my mind? Or is this not August? They were previewing movies for January. Then they worked their way back a little bit and they previewed for Christmas. They previewed one for November that's going to open November 3rd. They did Cats, and I would love to see Cat. I love the music of Cats. I really love it. Just wonderful. And of course, I would love to see, I think it was, is it Judi Dench in that? But it really looked terrific, so I would love to see that one. So if I'm still going to the movies by November, that would be, or December or whatever it was. But I thought it was interesting. So the movie, I had no real idea of what to expect. I knew that it had to do with cross country as a sport. And sports movies don't necessarily appeal to me generically, but yet every one of them that I have seen in the last several years, I've loved. I mean, I loved the one about Jackie Robinson. Was it 42? I forgot. I loved the one that, the one about that football player, and I can't think of the name. Not Blindsided. What was it called? But there were a number of them. The one also where they were doing the pick to pick their players. I loved that one. I don't remember the names of any of them. So I do wind up liking them, but I would not choose it necessarily. But this was not only a well-acted movie, but a really wonderful story with some very tender moments and some very exhilarating moments. The audience, such as it was, and we always wind up going for the last show because I always like to eat first. So there weren't all that many people in the theater. Well, maybe there were, but because it was such a huge theater, it didn't feel like there were that many. So, but you had people sitting there applauding like crazy and vocally, just going along, just being excited or upset or whatever it was. that was going on in the movie at that moment in time was really, really that's what I wanted to say, was really affecting the audience. So if you're looking for something to see, it's a terrific movie to see. As a matter of fact, at the end of it, he turned to me and he said, "That was a wonderful movie." He said, "That's one of the best ones we've seen." So it was really nice. Also wanted to talk a little bit, not happily, but about all this craziness going on in the world. And it's so disturbing. One of the things I was thinking about last night, sitting in the theater, because it was so big and the seats were not the new seats. So it didn't have the high backs with the, what do you call it? The recliner seats. And I found myself looking behind me a few times because of the incidents that have taken place in movie theaters and places like that. And it's something that never would have occurred to me in a million years ago, but it's something that's out there now, and you just don't know, with all the crazy people in this world that are walking around, you don't know. Hi, I'm glad you made it. So it's been really difficult to watch. I also am very worried about all of my friends in the path of Damien and Damien. It is Damien, not Dorian. I forgot now. I forgot which it is. Damien? Dorian. I knew it was one of the two. Son of a gun. Um, yeah, Damien is that. Yeah, I saw that it changed course, and they said that it looked as if it was not going to hit. It does sound devilish, doesn't it? I was thinking that as I said it. Um, yeah, it seems to have changed its path because originally thought it was going to. Hi, hi, Melissa. They thought it was going to hit all of Florida, and it looks now as if it may miss Florida altogether, but they're worried about the Carolinas now, and I know the Carolinas do not need another bad hit from another storm, so I'm praying that the whole thing goes off course and winds up offshore doing little damage. So that would be a gift. It's this time of year that it makes me wonder also. It's funny. As I make my plans, or not really make my plans, but think of the possibilities, yes, please God, when I think of the possibilities about where I might wind up, and Florida has been a consideration, but you think about this, and this is every single year, that this is a major thing this time of year where you just don't know what's going on, and you just don't know if the place that you're living in is going to be there or be intact or whatever. So it's kind of like that old saying, the devil you know versus the devil you don't know. If you've dealt with something all your life, you develop a skill set to be able to handle it. But if you're dealing with things that you know nothing about, then it becomes something that could be a real consideration. So, yeah, definitely something to take into consideration. I had a really, really, yeah, I know, it's definitely got its questionable things, but then again, doesn't everywhere. There are things all over the country. Um, I know the middle of the country, they have a lot of areas where they have tornadoes, and they've got issues like that. And of course, the West Coast, not only the West Coast these days, with earthquakes and mudslides and fires. And, there's stuff. There's Arizona with the intense heat and monsoons, but I don't think that that's a major issue because I think that's short term kind of stuff. But yeah, it once again, if we know how to deal with it, we know how to deal with it. So that makes it not so bad. And I know, I know. Yeah. I actually had a wonderful, lovely, lovely conversation with Barbara Smith was it yesterday or the day before? I don't remember. Oh, uh, that's funny, Sandy. You can't find sterno? Oh, for heaven's sakes. That's funny. Um, yeah, we had a really nice, long conversation. And she, of course, lives in Arizona, but she spends probably, well, many months in the Midwest. So she's not in Arizona for the summer. She did give me some really good information, though, about different aspects of it. And yeah, so granddaughter 1 week in college, now sports and nose piercing. Oh, that's funny. That was quick. That really was quick. I suspect Zach will not go in that direction. I really need to be in touch with him. He's been in school now for a couple of weeks. It all goes too fast. The little one's birthday, Dylan's birthday, oh, he'd kill me if he heard me say that. His birthday is September 5th. Oh, my heavens. Okie dokie pokey. Um, yeah, he's going to be 13, so he will be a teenager. Way too fast. I can't stand it. So it's interesting. I am really, it's funny. Since I started going out, there is so much to be learned by interacting with people that you haven't known before, people who have been total strangers to you, and you develop relationships of one kind or another. And I can really see myself headed into possible friendship with some people. But the interesting thing is, there are so many things about all of us that are more alike than different. The feelings that we have, the fears that we have, putting ourselves out there and being rejected, and all of the insecurities that people have that come from so many years ago that they don't even know where it comes from a lot of the time. So, but it's a great learning experience for me. It really is. And I made a conscious decision that whenever I have control over it, in order for me to function in the world, I need to keep negativity away from it. Hi, Myra. As much as possible. Clearly, there is negativity to deal with in the world, and certainly in the world in which we have issues that are ongoing. But I'm not going to take on additional negativity. And I think that absolutely we can control that part of our lives, because it's so easy to get pulled into it. And I just think that we are in so much of a better place when we don't when we choose the road headed up rather than the road headed downhill. So that is my story for today. And yes, thank goodness. But every time something like that happens, Myra, I think we all, the first, well, I mean, aside from the shock and the horror and the disbelief that somebody could do that to other people that they don't know, have no connection to often, and just do it just because they're that kind of angry. I don't understand it, but I think we have all those emotions. Yeah, you just, I think the thing that you think is, oh my God, those poor people that it happened to and how random it seems to be the ones that are affected, as it always is. When there's a natural disaster, whatever it is, it always feels random. But you have to try to do that. And I think we are always so grateful that it didn't happen to us, that it didn't happen to the people that we care about. You do. You do see both. Look at the things that have happened on the internet. The things that have happened on the internet that have caused young kids to commit suicide because the bullying was so intense that they literally did not see a way out. I just, yeah, I think, hi, Susan. I wish that there was more conscience in everybody. I think some people just, they don't have a moral compass. They just don't. And whatever caused it, whatever happened in their lives, or whatever they perceived to have happened, or sometimes it is just purely mental illness. Sometimes, yeah, yeah, I'll tell you, know, it's interesting when you said that, Denise, about the internet being evil, that your mother in law had thought that. Many, many years ago, I was dating a guy who had said to me at the time, talking about television and the capabilities and the way things were changing. And he said, it's like Big Brother watching you. And I poo pooed it and thought he was a little paranoid. But look at it now. I mean, our television, as David had said in that video that I had rewatched, in ours, he had mentioned that what is television really? I mean, what constitutes it? Is it the stuff that we do? Is it the stuff that we put on YouTube? Is it the stuff of any of this that then goes out there on any kind of social media? Because isn't Big Brother really watching us on some levels? They have so much of our information. It takes very little ingenuity to get a lot of detailed data about people. And when I mean, it can be as simple as being intrusive, or it can be as dangerous as somebody who might stalk somebody else. I saw a replay of that YouTube video showing Rebecca Schaefer when she was stalked and killed by that crazed fan. And you think about it, I mean, he got all her information by getting a private eye who just went to DMV and got her address. It's really scary, the stuff that's available out there and people can use for good or for evil. So it's sad. I like to kind of surround myself by what I feel like is a white light to protect myself from any of that stuff because it's just really too frightening out there with some of this. I mean, to have sat in a movie theater for me, first time in my life, that twice I found myself looking behind me. Never would have occurred to me in a million years. So it's really been, times get tougher. They really get tougher. Tell me what's happening in your world. What's new? I know you told me, Sandy, but anybody else? Is there anything special or exciting going on for anybody? I know my days are getting a little bit fouled up with this, by the way, but for me, it's a little more difficult now. Have head on swivel. always know. Oh, actually, Denise, that's what they said in the theater. Oh, yeah, yeah, that's terrific. That must be very, very interesting for her to see. When we were sitting in the theater yesterday and they were doing the coming attractions and everything, that's what they were saying. They were saying about looking around, and they said know where the exits are. I sat there and I thought to myself, oh my God. And they said, if anything happens, head straight for the exit. And now we've been going to the movies for the past few months. They haven't said that in any of the other theaters. Maybe because they're small local theaters and this is a huge theater. But it was a very scary thing to see and to hear. It really was. You like to think when you go out for an evening's entertainment that you're going to go out for an evening's entertainment and actually make it home without having to worry about some crazy person ending your life just because you went to the movies or whatever. I mean, this latest guy, and they'll never know the story now. I know. Yeah, it's yeah, it's definitely something to think about. Yeah. Um, she calls him on Alexa while he's sleeping. Oh my God. Oh my God. Yeah, I actually have been talking about Alexa. I I've had it for a long time now because I had bought the Echo for David. I don't remember. I guess shortly after it came out, I bought it for him for a gift for something. I forgot what it was. And I thought it was such a great idea that I wound up shortly after that buying one for myself. And I just love it. And of course, the capabilities are ever changing, evolving, and you can do so many things with it. You really can do so many things. So it's been um, it's been interesting. I was also telling this guy who loves music that I was astounded by how great the music sounds on the Echo, considering it's just that single cylinder. As a speaker, I think it's wonderful. It's such a full, rich sound. Before that, I had bought a Bose radio a few years before that, and because I had a very old stereo system. It was one of those stacked systems that had like 5 different components, and it was wonderful. I had bought it. I think it was on HSN many, many, many years ago, probably 25 years ago at least, maybe more. And I had loved that, but we had a power surge at one point. You still have one of those? Well, I would have, but the problem was there was a power surge and I had a 5 CD changer on that. It no longer worked. It doesn't recognize it. Something else happened. The only thing I could still play on it were the tapes, and I didn't have that many of the tapes left. So I wound up getting the Bose radio because I love music. And when I am cleaning or doing anything in the house, I really love, he calls it Alexander. You can change the name, by the way, because one of my clients a few years ago, we were talking about it. She has a daughter named Alexa. So every time she called her daughter, the Echo would answer her. So it is nice. Oh, I think it's wonderful, though. I really do. I just love it. I ask it all kinds of questions, um, and you can play games on it. I used to occasionally play Jeopardy on it, trying to get my brain to function. So I would do that, and they have all kinds of other games. So That's fun. And the music, you can ask it to play anything. I have Amazon Prime, so as a Prime member, you can have any of the Amazon music on there, and you can have it set as an alarm clock to let you know to wake you. You can have it set as a timer if you're doing something or cooking something. It's really good. I know. I know. Yeah, well, yeah, I mean the Big Brother definitely has invaded our space to a degree. There's no question about it, but you get used to things. You really get used to things. It's um it's just it reminds me of many years ago. I lived in a one-bedroom apartment at the time with one bathroom. Most of my friends at that time who lived in the complex, because we were all married and had young children, most of us, had at least two bedrooms and two bathrooms. And I remember at one point having a discussion about bathrooms. And one of them has said at the time, and it's I think true of life, once you've had two bathrooms, you can't turn back. And I think that's true of everything. Not that you can't, because clearly there are times in life when we turn back. There are times in life when we have much less and we will survive whatever it is because we are much more flexible than we think we are, and we will adapt when we need to. So, yes, you can do it, but it's difficult when you've had more to then adjust to having less. So, yeah. Okay. I actually, remember I had said that I was not feeling well. Oh, I don't remember if it was about a week ago or something like that. And I just was feeling kind of poorly for days, to the point where I was ready to call a doctor and make an appointment. And that's a biggie for me because I don't do that quickly. I always figure it'll pass and let me just leave it alone. But thank goodness today is a day that I'm starting to feel better. So I'm really grateful for that. But so many people I know have not been feeling well. There's been a lot of it going around. So that is the story. Is there anything that anybody is particularly in the mood to talk about tonight? Because if that is not the case, I'm going to make it a little bit shorter tonight because I have a couple of things that I should get done here if there is nothing special. But I did want to come on and just chat with you, and I'm going to try to get back on more of a normal schedule. Clearly, this Saturday night is not going to work for me anymore because it appears that I'm booked on Saturday nights. So I can do Sunday, probably a good part of the time, and Wednesday should really not be a problem. But I'll adjust it a little bit here or there if I need to, if that's okay with everybody else. So if it works for you, let me know. And play Old MacDonald. Oh, that's funny. That's really funny. Yeah, Sandy was saying that Alexa wouldn't play Old MacDonald, and it is now in the closet. So yeah, no, I really would not want to give up my Alexa. It's funny because when I got it for David, he wasn't all that excited about it. Yeah, oh yes, Chris. Actually, yes, I did, and I was going to talk to her, but I got crazy busy with things. I'm going to give her a call. There is no more news in terms of too much popcorn in terms of her son, and I certainly want to know about that. And yeah, she did write a whole thing. which I certainly can read to you, but I don't want to do it tonight because, again, it's just going to start a whole lengthy conversation about that. And I think that, well, I mean, once again, as I say, the bottom line is she is dealing with a hellish situation. Nobody knows better than I do. And I don't want to add any more intensity to it. I don't want to add any more of anything that's going to add stress to her world, because when you have that kind of stress 24/7, really breaks you down physically. I didn't know when it was my turn if I could survive it. Oh, and speaking of surviving it, this is a funny little aside. Linda had a whole bunch of my stuff in the trunk. Yes, it really is. It really is terrible. Your dance card is filled. Um, yeah. Oh, wait a minute. I don't want to lose my train of thought about about Linda with the stuff. She's had stuff that she brought back when I was in rehab, that she brought, or was it from the hospital? Yeah, I think it was rehab mostly, but some from the hospital when I got out. So that's last summer. It's a year. It was in the trunk of her car. So she was going away for this weekend and she needed her trunk empty. So she left all the stuff on her porch for me to go pick up. I didn't pick it up during the day, and I got a call from her roommate saying to me he really was concerned that if it was left there, somebody might steal it. And he thought that I should come and pick it up. And I said, yeah, you're right, I should. I said, but in truth, my feeling was if somebody wanted to steal my dirty old clothes, I would just ask that they maybe wash them. There were 3 big bags. I couldn't believe it. Don't forget, though, my entire ordeal took 2 months. So there was a lot of stuff over a period of 2 months. One thing was I have this wonderful purple, I guess you'd refer to it as an overnight bag or something. I don't remember what I had bought a couple of years ago that was a free gift along with purchase. I honestly don't remember what I got. I don't remember where I got it, but it was. So that was filled. There was a blue suitcase that I cannot lay claim to. I'm sure it's hers. I have I don't know that suitcase from a hole in the wall, but there was that suitcase. And then there was a big shopping bag. So when I opened the purple overnight case, I was astounded to see a tin of cookies. Cookies that was sitting in the trunk of her car for a year. And I thought about it. And when I thought about it, I said, oh my God, I remembered that I had leftover cookies. And I said to her, take them home and eat them. You and Kenny eat them and just enjoy them. Well, apparently she never brought it up from the car. So after a year, I'm thinking the cookies should be thrown out. So I thought that was really funny. And I have a lot of laundry to do. I couldn't even bring all the stuff up to the house. What I did was I took part of it out of one bag and I put it into one of those lightweight bags from Meals on Wheels. And I brought that upstairs and I'm going to do that laundry and I'll bring it up a little bit at a time till I get it all here. But that's the story. So yes, on that note, I'm going to end early. I hope if you have plans for tomorrow that you enjoy what you do, and I hope that if it's nice weather, you get to be outdoors and enjoy some of it. And for me, I'm very sad that the summer is essentially over, that all the pools will be closed. I never made it to the pool once. that saddens me because I would have really liked to do it. One of the reasons I had wanted a few years ago when they first built this 55 and over community in the next town, they had two pools. They had an outdoor pool and an indoor pool. Your pool is open, right? Yeah, no, that would be really super, but it makes me sad. I'm not ready for the summer to be over. I'm not ready for the days to get shorter. I'm not ready for any of that stuff. So, on that note, have a wonderful, wonderful day tomorrow. And today is, I don't even know what day it is, Sunday. I will look forward to seeing you on Wednesday, unless something unusual happens, in which case I may have to shift it back or forth a day. Take care, everybody. You know I love you. Have a good night. It was a much better summer than last year, Myra. You are 100% right. I actually got to experience some of this year. Some good things have happened. Take care.